What if rebuilding leg strength after 70 didn't need fancy workouts or expensive pills, but just a few simple seeds? Most people think seeds are just tiny snacks, but new research shows certain ones can actually support muscle repair, reduce inflammation, and boost circulation. If your legs feel weak, stiff, or just not what they used to be, this could change everything. Stay with me. Number 2 might be sitting in your pantry right now. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, one of Japan's most respected doctors who lived past the age of 100, once said, "Movement is life, but life depends on what you feed your muscles." And he lived by those words. Well into his 90s, he consumed tiny, high-density foods, especially seeds, not because they were trendy or exotic, but because they were functional. Small foods, rich in everything the aging body needs. Seeds, in particular, were part of his daily ritual, not as supplements but as companions to his vitality. It's easy to overlook them. They're small, quiet, unassuming. But seeds are biological powerhouses. Inside them are minerals that help your muscles relax, proteins that help them rebuild, healthy fats that keep your joints moving, and amino acids that quietly restore what time tries to erode. They don't shout. They don't promise miracles. They simply work, little by little, meal by meal. Functional medicine expert Dr. Mark Hyman calls this precision nutrition. Food is a kind of personal medicine, and seeds, especially for those of us over 70, are perhaps the most efficient and gentle form of that medicine. Not pills, not powders, just the natural gifts that come from the soil, clean, affordable, available. So today we begin something simple, a walk through 5 powerful seeds. Each one is tied, by science or culture, to stronger legs, clearer energy, and the kind of movement that brings back your independence. They don't reverse time, but they may help you move through it with more strength, more confidence, and a little less pain. You don't have to change everything. You don't have to believe right away. But perhaps you can try. One seed, one spoon, one step, and see if in 3 weeks your legs begin to whisper back, "Thank you." Let's begin. Pumpkin seeds, the forgotten ally for magnesium and muscle repair. There's a quiet pain that many people carry, and most never talk about. It shows up at night when the leg suddenly jerks or cramps without warning. It shows up while walking, when each step feels like it's missing a rhythm. You might blame the years or the veins or say it's just how it is now, but more often than we realize, it's something simpler. Not disease, not decay, but a slow and silent absence of one essential mineral, magnesium. Magnesium is what allows your muscles to contract and relax in harmony. Without it, they tighten like old ropes, pull where they shouldn't, and ache without clear reason. And with age, the body's ability to absorb magnesium quietly declines, especially when our diets are missing the small foods that once brought it in naturally. Foods like pumpkin seeds, small, earthy, almost invisible on the plate. But inside, a treasure for tired legs. Pumpkin seeds, also known as pepitas, are among the richest plant-based sources of magnesium available. Just a spoonful carries enough to begin restoring what time and routine have slowly taken away. But their benefits don't end there. These seeds also carry zinc, iron, and healthy fats, the trio that supports not just muscle repair, but also joint function, blood circulation, and digestion. Everything, in truth, that keeps us moving freely. In the countryside of Austria and Hungary, elders have long used pumpkin seed oil as part of their daily rituals, not because a doctor prescribed it, but because they listened to their bodies and their grandparents. They knew its richness supported aging joints, soothed the prostate, and brought resilience back to the limbs. These weren't superfoods in glossy packages. They were just foods, used with intention, passed down through care. Add a spoonful to your morning. Maybe raw, maybe gently roasted. No fuss, no ceremony. Let it become part of your rhythm, the way you pour water for tea or fold a napkin after lunch. Slowly, with time, you may feel your steps become more stable, your muscles less reactive, your nights quieter, because that's what pumpkin seeds do. They don't shout for attention. They work like wrenches in the hands of a quiet mechanic, tightening what's loose, releasing what's stiff, restoring what still wants to work. One handful at a time, one step at a time, one day closer to strength that was never lost, only paused. Chia seeds, the water-activating seed that supports muscle hydration. There's a kind of thirst the mouth can't feel, a thirst that hides inside the muscles, deep in the tissues, where fatigue begins before we've even moved. Many older adults drink water faithfully, a glass with each meal, a cup before bed, and yet they still feel tired, still feel heavy, still feel like something inside them is drying out. The truth is, as we age, the body often loses its ability to hold water where it's most needed. Muscles become like dry sponges, full of cracks, slow to recover, easily strained. This is where chia seeds, tiny, unassuming, offer something extraordinary. When soaked, chia seeds undergo a kind of quiet transformation. They form a soft, translucent gel, almost like the texture of aloe. And this gel does more than look interesting. It mimics how water behaves inside our cells. It slows absorption, anchors hydration into our tissues, and allows the muscles to remain supple for longer periods of time. Less dryness, less cramping, less weariness by the afternoon. In ancient Mesoamerican cultures, among the Aztecs and Mayans, chia was not a health fad. It was survival. Warriors carried it during long treks. Elders used it for strength during recovery. It wasn't just food, it was resilience in a seed. Kind of edible reminder that strength doesn't always come from something loud or large, but from something alive and smart. You can almost hear the body sigh when it receives it, especially when chia is soaked overnight in water, with a little lemon added for taste and digestion. That simple mixture, quiet, cool, refreshing, becomes a balm not just for the bowels but for the very muscles that carry you through the day, and perhaps through pain. There's a phrase that says it best. Think of chia as water you can chew, and muscles that don't dry out. Not because of more water, but because of smarter hydration. Not because of more strength, but because of deeper nourishment. This is how healing often begins. In the silent, slippery strength of something that once looked too small to matter, but matters more than we ever imagined. Sunflower seeds, the vitamin B1 booster that reawakens sluggish legs. Some discomfort doesn't arrive with pain. It comes with slowness, a kind of heaviness in the legs, as if each step has become a burden rather than a movement. The body responds a second too late. The muscles feel like they're listening through fog. And for many people over 70, this quiet delay, this sense of dragging rather than walking, isn't always from arthritis or circulation or age itself. Sometimes it's from something far simpler and far more silent, a lack of vitamin B1, also known as thiamine. B1 plays a subtle but crucial role in how nerves send signals to the muscles. It is the messenger between thought and movement, the electricity that tells your leg to lift, your foot to move, your balance to hold. When it runs low, the wires begin to fray. Muscles hesitate, gait becomes unsure, energy fades before the task is done. And many people, especially those managing blood sugar or early signs of insulin resistance, are more depleted in B1 than they know. This is where sunflower seeds become more than a snack. They become a source of quiet restoration. Naturally rich in B1, sunflower seeds offer this essential nutrient in a form the body easily understands, carried by oils that support the nervous system, and by minerals that calm the heart. There's no flash, no flavor that shouts, just a nutty, earthy taste that brings with it the whisper of waking legs. In parts of Eastern Europe, you can still find older women who carry roasted sunflower seeds in their coat pockets. Not for fashion, not for show, but for sustenance, for warmth, for the soft energy that comes from food made by the earth, not processed by a factory. It was their version of strength on the go, their medicine between meals, their way of keeping tired limbs a little more alert. 2 spoonfuls, added to soup or stirred into morning oats, can become part of that same ritual. Chewed slowly, they release their oils, and with them their support. Not a jolt, not a surge, but a steady current beneath your feet. Because to move like a child doesn't mean turning back time. It means remembering how to feed the body like an elder, with what the soil made to protect you. Quietly, daily, faithfully, like a pocket full of seeds that knows exactly what you need. Sesame and hemp seeds, calcium, plus amino acids for leg structure and recovery. There are aches that live in the bones, not sharp but deep, a quiet weariness that lingers in the thighs, the knees, the hips. It's not always pain that stops us from walking, but a sense that our legs no longer feel built for the task, as if something essential inside them has worn thin. And often that something is structure, the bones that support us, the tissue that holds us upright. After 70, the body loses more than muscle. It loses the very scaffolding that made movement feel natural. Calcium is usually the first thing we think of, but in truth, it's not just about calcium. It's about how that calcium is absorbed, where it's stored, and whether your body still knows how to use it. For many older adults, especially those with sensitive digestion or lactose issues, dairy is no longer a reliable source. And so, the body waits, asking quietly for nourishment in other forms. This is where two ancient seeds step forward with quiet dignity: sesame and hemp. Sesame seeds, tiny and golden, have been a cornerstone of Japanese cuisine for centuries. Known as goma, they're often ground into pastes or stirred into broths, not just for flavor, but for the dense calcium they carry in each grain. Unlike synthetic supplements, sesame's calcium comes wrapped in healthy oils and fibers that the body can recognize. It doesn't shock the system. It feeds it, gently. And beside sesame, hemp seeds bring something equally vital: amino acids, the building blocks of recovery. These compounds help repair tissue, support the joints, and rebuild what daily wear slowly tears down. While they once belonged to ancient rituals and rural kitchens, today they offer quiet support to anyone whose legs feel like they've been holding the world for too long. One spoonful of each, stirred into warm porridge, folded into vegetables, creates not just a flavor, but a foundation, a pairing that brings strength not through excess but through balance. Sesame for the bones, hemp for the muscle. Together they rebuild what aging time has thinned. Like bricks and mortar, these two seeds fill the cracks time has left behind. Not all at once, not dramatically, but faithfully, bite by bite, step by step. They carry no promises, only potential. And sometimes that's all the body needs: a quiet invitation to rebuild, from the inside out. There is a kind of wisdom that only age can offer, the kind that sees through the noise, that recognizes what truly matters, and that learns to listen not just to the world, but to the body itself. And in that listening, many people over 70 begin to notice something. Their body is no longer asking for more. It's asking for better rest, better movement, better nourishment. Not louder or faster or more expensive, just something that speaks its language again. The older we get, the more the body whispers instead of shouts. It tells us in quiet ways what it needs. A stiffness in the knees might say, "I'm missing minerals." An afternoon slump might say, "My cells are running on empty." A restless night might be a soft plea for nutrients that once came from food, but now arrive too late or not at all. And yet the modern world often answers those whispers with pills, quick fixes, and generic advice. Things that treat the symptoms, but not the roots. But there is another way, a simpler way, a way that honors the slowness and dignity of age. It begins with remembering that the body is not breaking, it's adapting. It's trying every single day to protect you, to keep you walking, to help you remember, to let you hold a cup without shaking, to lower yourself into a chair and rise again with grace. And when you feed it with care, it responds. Not with drama, not overnight, but with gratitude. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara knew this. Well into his 90s, he moved with clarity and intention, fueled not by trends but by what he called dense, useful foods. He believed that food should serve the body like a trusted tool, simple, reliable, and always ready to help. That's why he ate seeds. Not because they were fashionable, but because they were functional. Because inside those tiny shells were answers to problems that aging bodies quietly carry every day. And those answers are not abstract. They are physical. Seeds support the electrical conversations between nerves and muscles. They help blood carry oxygen to places that have grown cold. They reduce the little fires of inflammation that keep joints stiff and digestion slow. They provide the building blocks for repair, not through force but through nourishment. And they do it in a way the body can recognize, not as a stranger, but as an old friend returning home. Modern medicine is slowly catching up to what traditional wisdom always knew. Dr. Mark Hyman speaks of precision nutrition, where every bite is a message to the body, and seeds are some of the most precise messages you can send. They contain minerals that unlock energy from food, amino acids that patch worn tissues, oils that soothe the inner lining of joints, and fibers that sweep the gut like a gentle broom. They are not only food, they are caretakers. What makes them remarkable is not their strength alone, but their size. They are small enough for those with little appetite, soft enough for aging teeth when soaked or ground, and versatile enough to blend into porridge, soups, or even a spoon of yogurt. No dramatic recipes, no rigid rules, just a gentle integration into the day, the way people used to eat without needing to name it. The beauty of seeds is in their consistency. They don't promise transformation in a day. They promise to keep showing up quietly, offering what you've been missing. Magnesium to relax the muscles that ache, thiamine to restore the nerve signals that falter, calcium to rebuild what has been worn thin, water-loving fibers that hydrate from within, and proteins that help you stand up, walk longer, and lift a pot without fear. Some people wait for a sign to begin, for a diagnosis, for a sharp pain, for someone to tell them it's urgent. But sometimes the invitation to change is not a shout. It's a whisper, a moment when you notice your legs have grown timid, when the stairs seem taller, when you pause before rising, unsure if your knees will agree. That is not failure. That is your body calling for help. And that help doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't need to come in a bottle. It can come in a teaspoon, a few seeds on a warm dish, a habit that asks little, but gives much. And over time, it becomes something else entirely. Not just a food, but a message to yourself that you still care, that you still believe in the possibility of ease, that you are not done. You are simply in a new chapter, where strength has a different shape, and healing begins with gentleness. Strength isn't gone. It's waiting. It's resting beneath the surface of fatigue, beneath the weight of long days, beneath the silence of grief and the stillness of age. It is there, just quieter now. And these seeds, so small, so patient, may be the first ones to wake it. There's no need for declarations, no need to change everything overnight. But if there's one thing the body remembers, it is consistency. One seed, one spoon, one morning at a time. Not to chase youth, but to nourish dignity. Not to avoid age, but to age well, with legs that carry you, a heart that steadies you, and hands that still prepare your own plate. And maybe, just maybe, after a few weeks, you'll feel something. A lighter step, a longer walk, a quiet afternoon without pain. And you'll know it didn't come from force, it came from care. If you've already shared your table with any of these seeds, you are not starting from zero. And if one of them is calling to you now, even in curiosity, let it come in. Your experience, your small choices, your story, they matter more than you think. Someone listening may need the same reminder that nature still offers us tools, even now, especially now.